Hi students, welcome to the physics class. We started the current electricity chapter, the third chapter. This is the second session of the current electricity. In this session, you are going to understand what is the meaning of drift velocity, relaxation time, mobility of the free electron, and we are solving the derivations on the current densities and the conductivity and the current in the form of drift velocity and drift velocity derivations, and we are learning about the resistance in series and resistance in parallel derivations. First we are going to learn about the drift velocity concept. The drift velocity, as we studied earlier, this is the conductor. The electrons get drifted from one end to another end. After many collision, it get drifted, right? So after connecting a battery across its ends. So here an average velocity with which free electrons drift in a metallic wire when potential difference is applied across its ends. The average velocity, this velocity we called as a drift velocity. And here an average time interval between two successive collision of electrons. You can see here between the two successive collision what the average time interval we get, with the fixed atoms or positive ions in a metal. So this time we called as a relaxation time. The relaxation time is, it is an average time interval between two successive collision of electrons with fixed atoms or positive ions. These are the fixed positive atoms or the positive ions. So with that it's going to collide and it can reach to the another end. The average time interval between the two successive collision we called as a relaxation time. And the next definition is the mobility of the electrons. The mobility, the symbol is mu. It is the drift velocity acquired by free electrons per unit electric field. As we know that when you apply the potential difference across its ends, the electric field will set up. So opposite to the electric field, the electron will move. So here the drift velocity acquired by free electrons per unit electric field, so Vd by E. So this ratio we called as a mobility. The mobility SI unit is meter square per volt second. Now let's solve for a drift velocity expression here. So consider a conductor having a length L, which is connected to a battery or a cell of potential difference V. Then electrons start to move from one end to another end with the drift velocity Vd, and it is going opposite to the electric field setup, right? So here we know this equations of motion. V is equal to U plus AT. Instead of T I am using the symbol tau. This tau denotes the relaxation time. Now in absence of electric field, the free electrons will move in a random motion. This is at the beginning. In the absence of electric field, the free electrons moves in a random direction. Therefore average initial velocity of the free electrons is 0. Hence I can take the initial velocity as the 0, and the final velocity is the drift velocity after connecting the potential difference. So that is V is equal to Vd. Just I am replacing here V by the Vd and U I am taking as a 0. So this equation 1 I can write it as a Vd is equal to A tau. And now by using the formula of force, F is equal to ma, A is equal to F by m, and I can replace the F by minus E, because the proof is here the electric field is forced per unit positive charge. F by that minus E, F is equal to minus E. So here charge is nothing but the free electron we considered, the charge is moving there, so hence it is minus E. So I replace the F value, I got the A, substitute this A value in the equation 2. Hence Vd becomes minus E tau by m. So here the negative sign becomes, that indicates that the direction of the drift velocity and the electric field are opposite in direction. Both are in opposite. So as we can see in our diagram here, the drift velocity and the electrons both are in the electric field, both are in opposite direction. So Vd is equal to minus E tau by m. So this is an expression to find out the drift velocity of free electrons. Yeah. The next derivation, we are deriving an expression for current in terms of drift velocity of the free electrons. Again the same diagram. The length of the wire is L and it is connected across the potential difference V, the battery, okay, and I is the current flowing in it, is the electron which goes opposite to the electric field moving with drift velocity. By the definition of current we know this, I is equal to Q by T, and the total free charge in this conductor is Q is equal to number of free electrons available in it into charge of each electron. So we can write it as a Q is equal to Ne. Number of free electrons, I am taking capital N. And the free electron density of the conductor is given by the free electron density, meaning is the number of free electrons per unit volume of the conductor. This is the meaning. The number of free electrons is nothing but N, capital N, and the volume of the conductor I am taking as a B. Okay. So here I can write it as a N divided by A into L, because the volume is nothing but area into length. Correct? The volume of the wire or the conductor, we can write it as a area and its length product. Therefore capital N becomes N into A into L. So this is the capital N. So now I am replacing this capital N and I am using this in this equation 2. Substitute in the equation 2. Then the equation 2 becomes Q is equal to NA LE, and use this Q value in the equation 1. I is equal to Q by T. So substitute the value of Q here, NA LE by T, and L by T is nothing but velocity. Okay, here we call it as a drift velocity, length divided by the time taken. So that value can be replaced here and we get the final equation, I is equal to NEA Vd. So this is the expression for current in terms of drift velocity. The next derivation, we have to derive the relation between current density and the conductivity of a conductor. Okay, we know that the conductivity is nothing but it is the reciprocal of the resistivity. Okay, and we can prove this. J is equal to sigma E. The J is the current density and the sigma is the conductivity. E is the electric field. Okay, this is the relation we have to prove now. Again use the same diagram, the same assumption here. The conductor of length L is connected across a battery V. The current I flows in it. Okay, yeah. So we know from Ohm's law V is equal to IR, and I can write it as a V by R. But we know the relation of resistance and resistivity, R is equal to rho L by A. So substitute this R value here in the equation 1. So substitute it and take this A to the numerator. Then it will become VA by rho L. Now take this A to the left hand side. It will become I by A and 1 by rho. And the remaining facts is V by L. Got it? So this is an equation 2. But we know that from the definition of current density, J is equal to I by A, and from the definition of electric field it is V by L, and the 1 by rho is nothing but reciprocal of resistivity, we call it as a conductivity sigma. Okay, substitute these values in the equation 2. I by A is the J, and 1 by rho is the sigma, and V by L is the E. Okay, so this is the proof for J is equal to sigma E. The next derivation, derive an expression for conductivity of a material in terms of relaxation time. Okay, we have to derive this. Sigma is equal to Ne square tau by m. Again consider the same diagram. Okay, and you have to write the explanation for this. Okay, yeah, just write it in your own words. And from the last derivation we got this relation. The relation between current density and the conductivity, J is equal to sigma E, we know this. So here we can write sigma as a J by E, call it as equation 1, but the current density is nothing but I by A. Substitute this value in equation 1, so we get I by AE. But we know that the current in terms of drift velocity, I is equal to NEAVD, substitute here NEAVD divided by AE. Here the term A get cancels, and we know the value for VD, that is EE tau by M. Since the drift velocity, the velocity we always taken in terms of positive here, okay. VD, the EE tau by M, and E get cancelled. Now multiply it, NE square tau by M. Okay, we have to consider J equals sigma E, and sigma is G by E. Just rearrange it, and current density I by A, and I is NEAVD. Substitute here, A get cancelled. Substitute the drift velocity formula, E will be cancelled, then multiply it, NE square tau by M. So this is the relationship. Conductivity. Yeah, the next one, the interesting concept is to find out the value of the resistors. Okay, so usually the carbon resistors doesn't have any printed value on it. We have to find out its resistance value through its color bands. Okay, usually the resistor comes with the 4 colors. Okay, the minimum. Here the first, second colors denoted by the numbers here, and the third color band denoted by the multipliers, and the fourth band denotes the tolerance. Okay, here is the table which is useful to find out the value of resistance of a resistor. I will give you an example. First, we should remember this table. This is very important, and the color sequence also very important. Okay, we should not shuffle it. Understood? So this is the color sequence: the black, brown, red, orange, yellow, green, blue, violet, gray, white, gold, silver, no color. Okay, here up to white. So we are putting the numberings here like 0, 1, 2, 3, 4 up to 9. And in the multiplier column, we are just taking in terms of 10 power zeros, 10 power 1, 10 power 2, 10 power 3, 4, 5, 6, like that up to 10 power 9. But for the gold and silver, we get 10 power minus 1 and minus 2. This gold, silver, no color usually comes in the fourth band. So we get in the tolerance band. The gold means plus or minus 5%, silver means plus or minus 10%. If no color at the tolerance band, at the fourth band means, then we have to use the value plus or minus 20%. Okay, and to remember this color sequence, observe only the first letters I am taking here, B, B, R, O, Y, like that. Okay, so to remember this in a sequence, we have a sentence here. By using this sentence, we can remember. See, B.B. Roy goes to Bombay via Great Way. Okay, see, B means black, brown, or red, orange, yellow. G means green. B is blue, violet, gray, white. Okay, to remember this color list, we are following this sentence, or you can also frame your own sentences where it suits. Okay, yeah, B.B. Roy goes to Bombay via Great Way. Don't change the color sequence. Suppose if I get a resistor with this color bands, observe the example 1, yellow, blue, orange, silver. Yellow, blue, orange, and at the last band silver if I get, then how to find out the value? Observe the first two are, we should watch in a number column. Observe there. So this is a number column, right? The second one. In the number column, we have to observe the first two colors numbers. And the third band is for the multiplier. Okay. And the fourth band, the fourth color is for the tolerance. Now look at it. The color is yellow. For yellow it is 4. Write it as 4. And for a blue it is 6. Write as a 6. And for orange it is 3. Okay, means 10 power 3. That is in third band, right? So we have to see in multiplier. Orange is 10 power 3. And now the last color is silver. So silver tolerance band. The fourth one is always a tolerance. So silver is having a tolerance plus or minus 10%. So 46 into 10 power 3 plus or minus 10% ohm. So we can also call it as a kilo. 10 power 3, 46 kilo ohm plus or minus 10% also we can write. This is how we find out the resistance value by using this color. Okay. Suppose if I get the value of the resistor, how can I convert into colors? It's just a reverse process of this. Okay. Suppose if I have a value of 76 kilo ohm plus or minus 5%, then I have to convert into colors. What are the colors may be printed on it? The first one, 7, 6 kilo means 10 power 3. The 7 number here, that is a violet. 6, that is a blue, and 10 power 3 is orange, and plus or minus 5% it comes for a gold. So 76 kilo ohm plus or minus 5% gives the color coding on the resistor: violet, blue, orange, gold. Understood? So this is the method to find out the resistance value on the carbon resistor. Yeah. Now let's discuss the next concept based on a resistors combination. Okay. We know the symbolically we will write the resistors like this. Okay. We can rearrange, we can combine the resistors in two different ways. One is in series combination, one is in parallel combination. Okay. This is the first combination. We are keeping the resistors in series and we are solving for a equivalent resistance. Okay. The equivalent resistance is nothing but it is the one which replaces the combination. Okay. We also call it as a effective resistance. So this single resistance value is equivalent to these two values. That is the meaning of equivalent resistance. So for that we are solving the derivation now. First, let us understand what is the meaning of series combination and which quantity is same, which quantity is different in it. Okay. The resistance are said to be connected in series when they are connected end to end. Okay. First, you need to understand this. Observe the two resistors here. One end resistor is connected to another end. Even if I connected multiple resistors, it goes like that only. Okay. One end of the resistor connected to another end such that, okay, here the first point, same current flows through the each resistor. Very important. Okay. The current will be same. Observe the current I. What the current enters to the R1, the same current will flow to the R2 also. Okay. But the potential differences are different. In series combination, current is same, potential differences are different. So we can tell this second point, the total potential difference across the combination is equal to the sum of the potential differences across each resistor. That means V is equal to V1 plus V2. The total potential difference is equal to sum of the two individual potentials. Okay. From Ohm's law, I can write this. V1 is equal to IR1 and V2 is equal to IR2. Now substitute the value in equation 1. So it is IR1, IR2. Take the I common, R1 plus R2. Call it as equation 2. So now we solve for this circuit, right? Now let's solve for the equivalent circuit. Observe for an equivalent circuit what we have there. If the combination is replaced by the effective resistance of resistance Rs, this combination, if it replaced by the single value resistance Rs, then I can use the Ohm's law for this circuit also. V is equal to IRS, right? I can use this. So now compare the equation 2 and 3. By comparing, I can write IRS is equal to I of R1 plus R2. Then both the side I will get cancelled. You get the effective resistance in series Rs. This is called a effective or equivalent resistance in series Rs is equal to R1 plus R2. Suppose if I connect n number of resistors in series, then I can write this Rs is equal to R1 plus R2, so on up to Rn. Okay. So we need to know this value, very important. Understand? Yeah. So this is a series combination. So don't forget, the series combination is nothing but end to end combination. Here the current is same through the each resistor, but the potential differences are different, and the final effective resistance values is just a addition of all the individual resistances. Now in the next, the some important points in the series combination. Suppose if n identical resistors are connected in series. Okay, n identical means carrying the same value of resistor, like 2 ohm, 2 ohm, 2 ohm, 2 ohm. Nearly I will connect to up to 100 or n numbers. Okay, are connected in series. Then I can use this shortcut formula, Rs is equal to n into R. That's it. No need to use R1 plus R2 plus so on up to Rn. It's just a multiplication of number of resistors connected and the resistance value. Okay. Then law of resistance in series. So this is a law of resistance in series. As we know that the Rs value, right? Rs value is equal to R1 plus R2 plus so on up to Rn. So by using this, you can frame the law of resistance. When a number of resistors are connected in series, the equivalent resistance is equal to sum of the individual resistances. So this is the law of resistances in series. And in this series combination, it increases the effective resistance value because it's addition, right? So as the resistance value keep on adding, the net resistance, the total effective resistance value also increases. Understood? And the effective resistance is always greater than the highest value of individual resistance. Okay, effective resistance value is always greater than the highest value of individual. In the individual, if we get any one as a highest one, so we get this total value still more higher than that. Okay, and in the series combination of resistor, we called as a potential divider circuit. Potential divider means the current is same, potential differences are different, I said. Okay, the potential difference across each resistors are different, hence we call as a potential divider circuit. Okay, and this series combination of resistor helps to maintain constant current at high potential. Constant current, yes, in the series combination the same current flows even whatever the potential it is. Understood? So we can use the series combination according to the purpose, okay, how we need it. Is it clear? Don't forget these points, very important it is. The next combination is parallel combination. You can see here the parallel, one comes above the other, right? Your resistors are said to be in parallel when they are connected between two common points or two common terminals. Observe. So the two resistors are connected between these two terminals only. Okay, when the terminals are comes common, then potential difference across these two will be same, but the current in this circuit get branched. Okay, observe here, the current, main current will enter to this junction, and after this junction it gets splitted as I1 and I2, it get branched. Understood? So we call this one as a current divider circuit. Understood? Yeah, resistors are in parallel when they are connected between two common points such that potential difference across each resistor is same. Okay, but the main current is equal to the sum of the currents through each resistor. That means I is equal to I1 plus I2. Main current is equal to sum of each currents in each branch. Understood? Again, use the Ohm's law here. From the Ohm's law, I can write this: I1 is equal to V by R1, I2 is equal to V by R2. I cannot write here V1 and V2 because voltages are same. Okay, so substitute these two values in equation 1, V by R1 plus V by R2. Now take out the V common out. Now look at the equivalent circuit there. We are replacing this combination by a single resistor, that is Rp, right? So if I replace this, then I can use the Ohm's law again here, and I can write it as I is equal to V by Rp. Till here the equation represents the first circuit. Now the equivalent circuit For equivalent circuit, I is equal to V by R. Now equate the equation 1, 2 and 3. On comparing these 2 and 3, we get this one. Here V get cancelled and we will get 1 by Rp is equal to 1 by R1 plus 1 by R2. By taking an LCM, we can write this Rp is equal to R1 R2 by R1 plus R2. Okay, and this formula is applicable only when there are two resistors. Understood? I connected only two resistors are in parallel. Suppose if multiple resistors connected in parallel, right, then you can use this as a plus 1 by R3 plus 1 by R4 so on up to 1 by Rn. So here the parallel combination, the resistors are connected between two common terminals or between two common points, and the potential difference is same across the each resistor, and the currents are different for each resistor. Okay, and the final formula for effective resistance. So important. Now let's see some more important points on this parallel combination. Here the first point, for n resistors in parallel, we can use this formula. For n identical, means same type of resistors are in parallel. Okay, then we can use this formula as a R by N. And law of resistance can be defined by using this formula. Okay, that means the reciprocal of the equivalent resistance is equal to sum of the reciprocals of the each resistances. Understood? Reciprocal of the equivalent resistance is equal to sum of the reciprocals of each resistance. And the effective resistance is always, the effective resistance Rp, what you get now, that is always lesser than the lowest value of individual resistance. Okay, and the parallel combination of resistors decreases the effective value. It decreases the effective value. And the parallel combination of resistor, we call it as a current divider circuit, because current get branched. Okay, it's get divided for each resistor. Okay, so we call it as a current divider circuit. And the parallel combination of resistors is used to maintain large current at constant potential. Understood? So the parallel combination is a constant potential circuit, but the series is a constant current circuit. There we can expect very small current, but here we can expect the very large current at constant potential. Now the next concept is about to find the branch currents. Okay, how to find out the branch currents? It is a shortcut way here. Okay, observe there. Now the current get branched, the main current I, I1 and I2. When two or more resistors are connected in parallel, the current through each resistor is called branch current. Just I connected only two resistors. We may also connect n number of resistors here, 3, 4 resistors are in parallel. Okay, then the current may divided as I1, I2, I3, I4 like that. So to find out the value of each current in each branch, here is a formula. Okay, we have to take current in a one branch, either I1 or I2, is equal to main current into resistance of the other branch. Suppose if I am using the current, if I want to find the I1, then you have to take the resistance of the other branch as R2. Okay, you can see here, divided by the total resistance, sum of the resistances. So I can find the I1 here. I1 is equal to main current I, resistance of the other branch is R2. I1 is flowing in this branch, but I have to take the resistance of other branch, that is R2, divided by the total resistance. And similarly, to find out the I2, main current I and resistance of the other branch is this one, R1, divided by total resistance R1 plus R2. Okay, so this is the formula used to find out the branch currents. And in this, I1 R1 product will be equal to I2 R2, that will be equal to IRP. So because usually in the parallel the voltage remains constant, right? The product of IR we call as a voltage. Whatever the product you take, I1 R1, I2 R2 or IRP, so it must be a constant. It should give a same value. For any number of resistors in parallel, IR product is constant. This IR product denotes the potential. Potential is always constant for a parallel combination. Okay. Yeah. This is an end. Today we learned all the derivations, most important derivations, and the facts about the resistors in series and parallel. Yeah, let's look at the cells combinations and about the Wheatstone's network, Kirchhoff's laws, and all in the next session. Thank you.